This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Buzz, and I'm very excited to be speaking with Rhea Seehorn about season two of Cooper's Bar. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for doing this on a Sunday.
Of course, of course. I am excited about this show. I think you're very good in it, but I'm a little surprised that what inspired you to do this role? Did you think that this a good fit based on previous things you had done?
No, I liked that it was quite different from what I was doing at the time, which was playing Kim Wexler, who is someone who keeps her shit together, and, and yeah, Chris Latimer does not at all. So it was fun. It's a group of friends too that I've known for a long time, so it was just really fun to play that with them. And I think Nick Morton and Hannah Davis and David Connolly. I think they were all and Luma still having a good time exercising their demons of different executives they've had to deal with in their careers.
Was this based on any, not asking you to tell me who, but was this based on specific people that you might have encountered for your performance?
My performance of it, not as much. Sorry, I'm gonna try to figure out my charger here. Excuse me, so I don't lose you. It's not working. All right. I, my laptop charger recently became, one of the ones where it's only like certain days in certain areas of the house and certain outlets and whatever. This is not interesting to your listeners, but I don't want. If I lose you, I will. Oh, okay. um, I have not actually been around anybody that actually behaved that way. No, but I definitely have stories from quite a few writer friends, and I have physically seen the notes on some people's scripts that were that bad. So it wasn't that hard to channel it.
What is it like working on a short form series like this, especially going from like an intense, slow moving, hour-long drama?
Uh, Surprisingly, no matter where you go, you're always chasing the sun coming up. Like, it doesn't matter. And we had, because of the setting in Lou's backyard, it was all night shoots. And then even when we worked at the studio for those days where it's the show within the show, it's just there's never enough time. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much money you have. There's never enough time. But we definitely had to shoot a lot faster on Cooper's than we do on Saul, for sure. And we were so thankful that all of our actors, all of the series regulars, and all of the guest stars were up for not only working for major pay cuts, but rehearsing and people running lines in halls. It was a very much kind of like almost early days of theater kind of atmosphere, because you're only going to get like two takes by the time we're rolling. So people had to know their lines, um, and they had to know the scenes, and they had to understand the comedy of it and the characters, and they did. They were all total pros.
Does it feel
Plus, we
though
had
like
great
you're just,
directors.
of course, which I know you're one of them.
I executive produced second season. I directed in the first season when they were short form. I wasn't able to direct the second season because of a scheduling conflict with the movie Bad Boys. But we had Anna Ramey Borden and Hannah Davis and Alfredo, and they were champs. They just like crushed it.
Does it feel like you're just shooting, a longer episode of like an hour-long thing, or it really feels like everything is distinctly separate and that it's, in these chapters that they were released that way?
It's a good question. Like because we only had 2 days to shoot each episode. And we were going back to back to back, and it was running and gunning for. I have to admit, it was running and gunning the whole time. And so in some ways, yes, it felt like one long episode, and that's why it was instrumental to us that all of the directors, and we did this on season one as well when Nick Morton and I also directed. It was all in house. We couldn't bring outside directors in because you had to know everybody's episode. You had to be all of us that directed were EPs and knew all of them, because sometimes you might have to block shoot. You might have to run in and shoot your scene because it's the only day we have whatever, that section of the parking lot. Or so people had to people had to support each other and be able to really like constantly reconfigure the shooting.
Well, even if you haven't encountered such terrible executives like your character in real life, have you encountered this sort of the way that a project that feels like it's going to be very authentic morphs into something else as production continues?
Oh, sure, sure. Like, and there's always, yes, I can't name names, but yes, I've done some pilots where a lot of times it's just too many cooks in the kitchen, and it's what was purchased was this idea, and then after all of these people had a say so, it became this other thing, and it's always frustrating, for the writers, for the actors, for the directors, for everybody, and I'm sure for the networks and studios as well, when they're like, that's so weird, we had this funny box and we took off two of the sides and the bottom and part of the top, and it just doesn't seem like a funny box anymore. I'm like, yeah, guess what? But some but other times a show is a bit amorphous and they're not sure what it wants to be, and you're kind of helping to figure that out, and that can be exciting but could end either way. Yeah, there's definitely stuff like that I've been involved with.
Before we talk about season two, I just want to flashback to a moment from season one, which is the fateful eating contest. Was that something that was done, true to life?
Unfortunately, yes, and I do not like wings. I am not
At
a
all?
wing
Like
eater.
before you
Nope.
get to spicy? Okay.
No, no. Don't like spicy wings. Don't like regular wings. Don't like any kind of wings. And I ate a lot of them. And Hannah directed that one, and she is a friend of mine. She apologizes all the time, but it's fine. It was funny. It was funny, and we had such a good time shooting that one. And I love that she did this Raiders of the Lost Ark shot. It was so good.
Well, I want to issue a spoiler warning for anyone who hasn't seen all of season two. We don't see as much, I think, of Chris as I would have liked, but then there's a pretty pivotal last scene which changes everything. Is there, how much did you know about that? Like, was that all set from the very beginning that things would end that way?
Yes, we were writing in both seasons. We wrote all the scripts at once, and as an EP, I loved working with the writers and weighing in on the writing. I was a very active part of the script writing, so I knew, and again, because of how fast we had to shoot, we had to write the whole thing. So I knew what I would be doing.
Well, is there a season three planned, even if it's not officially happening yet?
We are definitely plotting about what ideas for season three. There has been no official pickup or anything, but I truly hope we get to keep telling some more stories because I just think these guys are so funny, and Keela with them.
Is there anything you can preview about what that might look like without giving up too much away?
Well, we definitely were considering them making a Cooper's Bar film because of the rights that they get left with at the end. And if not, perhaps like them attempting to make something on the Christian network with Chris. Yeah, we have a lot of different ideas, and also like going back to Buffalo was another one we threw out, and seeing if really his dream of running a bar could keep his attention long enough because of the push and the pull of Hollywood bringing him back in. So, or maybe all of the above. We really hope we get to tell more stories for sure.
That's great. Well, I know that Better Call Saul was one of the last real prestige dramas that sort of everyone was watching, talking about. Are people watching Cooper's Bar? Have you heard a lot of people who have actually seen the show? Because I know it's great, I've seen it, but have you heard a lot of people who actually have managed to find it?
Um, Certainly not. It's not like Better Call Saul. You're right. We had the this benefit of people knowing exactly where to find it, and it being a critic's choice for people to watch it. This one, yeah, I wish more. To be honest, I wish more people knew about it because the people that have seen it tell me how much fun it is, and that they were like, I just kept rolling into the next one, and I wanted another one, and I wanted another one, and even season one when it was short form. I just got the response I get from people that have seen it is You know what? This is exactly what I feel like watching right now. I just like they're watching a lot of big think pieces and some dark stuff, and they were like, I kind of just wanted to hang out with a bunch of people just trying to hold it together and barely getting through. And they respond to the relationships really well, and the sort of inside baseball jokes. So everyone I know that's seen it has loved it, which warms my heart. But I'd be lying if I didn't say I wish more people could find it. Maybe you can help me with that.
Course. No, I mean, I was also curious because I know you were nominated for an Emmy for season one. Do you like when you were up there in that category, did you seek out other nominees in the short form categories that you probably hadn't seen before that?
Yeah, it was. I did, and it was, and I was kind of like, wow, there's some really cool short form series. Like, but I was definitely thinking the same thing. I was like, it's not that easy to find them. I mean, if you Google short form series, like thousands come up, so it's not impossible to find that medium. It's just about sifting through them. Hopefully, I hope that people still check. I mean, they're still available at AMC and IFC. Both networks are obviously proven to do really quality work. So I'm hoping that more people find them through that as well.
Think you also have a lot of fans from Better Call Saul who are eager to see you in anything because I think to them that's a lot of what they've seen. That's what they know you in, and especially seeing because I think that Chris is not even like Jimmy or Saul. I think she's probably closer to Gus or some really terrible villain on that show. Not even just like the seedy character. Do you think that's a fair comparison?
I don't think she's as bad as Gus, but yeah, she's pretty ruthless. Although I have to say, like Nick and I would laugh sometimes, and Hannah and David, like the writers. There's certain scenes where we were like, I'm sorry, but I would be on Chris's side. These guys are being idiots. But yeah, she's pretty singular.
Well, I think if I hadn't seen you in this show, I would ask if you thought Better Call Saul would dictate a lot of what your roles after would look like. But I think this is the clearest sign that you're definitely eager to try new things and people are letting you do that, which is really great.
It's great. It's great. And when I was doing theater in DC and New York, like I played a pretty wide. It's pretty acceptable to play a wide variety of characters, and then being on sitcoms, I was only so lucky to be pigeonholed because that means anybody's calling you at all. But it was sort of like became like just a sitcom actor until the Ellie Thomas casting, as well as a handful of other casting directors do not pigeonhole actors that way. And she's the one that brought me in for Better Call Saul. And it was funny. I then auditioned for some comedy, read for some comedy, and they are huge fans of Better Call Saul. And they were asking, like, yeah, but can she do comedy? Like, we don't know if she can do comedy. And I was like, oh my God, like, it doesn't matter what you do. But I'm thankful that by the end of the run of Saul, I feel like for whatever reason, I mean, the quality of the writing, the quality of the directors, the quality of that production, a lot of things have opened up to me, like and a wide variety of roles. And this role that I'm playing now on Vince's new show is nothing like anything I've ever done.
Can you say more?
Not much.
Okay, that's fine. We'll hang on for that. Well, I do want to mention something else I had seen you in, which is the film Linoleum, which I fear it's also like Cooper's Bar remains undiscovered by a lot of people. What can you say about the experience of that sort of quirky, really cool film?
I love that movie so much. And Colin West, the writer director, is just such an incredible person. I was just texting the other day. I was like, I just always think like I can't wait to do something else with him. He's a beautiful soul and a really interesting um artistic mind, the way he goes about things. And I was just texting with Jim Gaffigan as well. Like he's a good buddy of mine now. And I love Michael Ian Black. I met so many wonderful, wonderful people on it. Michael and I are trying to do something as well. That it was done during lockdown, post vaccines, but still like people operating in bubbles. And it was this little family of really creative, lovely people going to upstate New York, not upstate. I've been told I'm incorrect to call it upstate in the Hudson Valley area. So that area. And it's just, to me, the film it sneaks up on you. And even when I watch it, and I know the other story without spoiling something that's going on there, it still sneaks up on you by the end. Like it's definitely one of those films that you can think it's about cerebral, like, wait, what's this and how does this work and blah 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 blah, and like this big um puzzle you're supposed to figure out. And in reality, it's much more like poetry. It's just an experience that you're just supposed to have. And my partner was in tears watching it. I know a lot of people, and some people were. I have friends that experienced the whole thing as this absolute tribute to um, committed relationships and love, and going through absolutely anything together and coming out the other side. I know people that are dealing with aging partners or aging parents that have that experience of it. Other people that had a really profound experience about are we more than our memories, and how do you define success? Like a lot of different things there, that I think are beautiful, and I really hope people watch it. I do.
Well, we love awards here at Awards Buzz, and so I'm always curious the people I'm talking to. What have you seen recently, a show or a performance that really has made you feel like it's particularly awards worthy?
Oh gosh, I haven't had as much TV viewing time lately, because usually I do make room for that. I thought the performances in Baby Reindeer were exceptional, all across the board. What else was I watching? I just started. Is it Forgotten with Nicole Walker, because she's one of my favorite actresses. That's so good, and those performances are amazing. And what was I watching? This is terrible. I'm behind because of my current schedule. What was it? What was it? Oh, I'm Slow Horses. Love, 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 love. And this doesn't count, but I'm rewatching Extras, which
That's
I'm
a great
obsessed with.
choice, certainly. It is not eligible for anything right now, but it is certainly a
Oh,
great
it
choice.
should be. It should be. I have. There's a bunch that I need to watch though. Like, I'm terrible right now. Sorry. I'll get back to you with a
No,
list.
that's okay. Well, we talked about a lot of great stuff you've done. Is there anything from your career, any performance, however small, that you feel is something you wish people would ask you about more that people just haven't found?
Hmm. Not really. Certainly I've had some heartbreaks of shows that I wish they would release the pilot of, even though it didn't get picked up, like Eva Adams and The Thick of It. Both of those were heartbreaks that they didn't go. Of course, you got to bloom where you plan, and then you end up where you are, right? So I never want to like say no to what the universe gives me. But yeah, I wish they would play pilot. I've loved many of my quote unquote failed pilots. Trying to think of the names of some of the other ones. Head Cases was great. That was 6 episodes with Richard Kind, Chris O'Donnell, um, Adam Goldberg. What was that? That was with Bill Chase. I think it was for Fox. It didn't go, and they never released any of them. It's crazy how much work just goes into the void, huh?
Yeah.
Uh, but certainly there's plays I wish like somehow weren't so ephemeral that people could have seen. Marat Sade. Now I'm just like going down my own little memory lane. I've been pretty fortunate that the work that I did the longest like got viewed. It's so hard, especially these days. It's like 500 shows on the air. Like the fact that anybody can even, like you said, I hope they find Cooper's Bar. I feel really proud of that. I definitely wish more people see it.
Well, if you've made it this far in this interview, definitely look at the description of this video. We'll have information on where to watch. Thank you so much, Ray. It was really,
Okay,
really a pleasure.
thanks. Good to talk to you. Bye.